Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for January 23rd. January 23rd is the 23rd day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 342 days remaining to the end of the year, unless it's a leap year, and then there are 343 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is viable. Viable is an adjective that means capable of living, such as a viable skin graft. Capable of growing or developing, such as viable seeds or viable eggs. Capable of working, functioning, or developing adequately, such as a viable alternative. Capable of existence or development as an independent unit, such as a viable colony. Having a reasonable chance of succeeding, such as a viable candidate or a viable peace deal. Or financially sustainable, such as a viable enterprise. The word viable comes to us from French and Middle English, originally from Latin, where it meant life. First known use of the word viable is around 1832. Viable. Remember, if you have a word you'd like us to examine in this Word of the Day segment, let me know in the comments and we'll take a look at it. The Dutch, in general, both in the Netherlands and in Belgium, have a long history of entrepreneurial activities. You've got the Dutch East India Company, the first multinational conglomerate, and the Dutch tulip market bubble of the 1600s, for instance. Before that, in the 1500s, the Bourse at Antwerp opened as a commodity exchange or stock exchange. A British merchant named Sir Thomas Gresham did business there in Antwerp, Belgium, and his man on the ground there had observed several things at Antwerp and informed his employer in detail about what he was seeing. In particular, and relative to today's item, was a building known as the Bourse in Antwerp that had been purpose-built as a commodities exchange center. Mr. Gresham, who is known as the father of English banking, had built and established the Royal Exchange as London's first purpose-built center for trading stocks, modeled after the Bourse in Antwerp. And this opened on January 23, 1571. Mr. Gresham added retail space later on. The Royal Exchange building was destroyed by fire twice, but rebuilt both times, and the Royal Exchange as a business still exists to this day. On January 23, 1986, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted its first members: Little Richard, Chuck Berry, James Brown, Ray Charles, Sam Cooke, Fats Domino, the Everly Brothers, Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Elvis Presley. In the short few years that I've been making these episodes, I have mentioned a lot of things that have happened on January 23rd in previous episodes, so I'll leave a link to one of those episodes for you in case you'd like to check that out. Phil and Don Everly were a pair of brothers from a musical family. Notable for their harmonies, they were active as a duo from 1951 to 1973. Took a break as a duo to pursue solo careers and then reunited as a duo in 1983 and continued performing together until 2004. Over the course of their career, they made over 50 albums and released 75 singles. 11 of those were number one singles. Of those, today we're going to talk about their song Let It Be Me. Originally written and performed in French. Unfortunately, my French isn't confident enough to attempt to pronounce the original title of the song or the name of the original artist, but the song was written by French lyricist Pierre Delanoë. An English version of the song was released by a pop singer named Jill Corey in 1957. The Everly Brothers got hold of the song and released it in 1960. Let It Be Me by the Everly Brothers made it to number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. Let It Be Me by the Everly Brothers. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoyed this series, check out the playlist that contains these videos, and I'll put a link to that in the description. The description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again and all. See you next time. This is the birthday.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I wasn't talking to you. John, are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. We got to make that be quiet. You got to read the black part. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for, where's your microphone? Okay, we don't want to say the same thing twice. Oh, get your microphone. What is it with you and this microphone? Okay, here we go. Okay, we are still recording. That's great. Okay. How about that? We'll have a lot to edit today. Cacophony is a sound. Cacophony is a noun that you got to read it the right way. Let's start over. It's 8 o'clock, so all of the reminders are going to be dinging. I forgot to turn those off. Okay, stop it. It's 8 o'clock. Don't alienate people who can be helpful to you. Flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.